Greetings, peace, and greetings. Man, we're currently experiencing this full moon in Leo. Um, I believe, well, Aquarius um, in the sun. So those that are aware of astrology or into it, this is highlighting a lot of things. Leo being, the heart, um, the compassion, the leader, you know, amongst other things. Aquarius being the humanitarian, the innovator, the you know more advanced things per se, but and they're opposite from each other, which is so interesting. So what I've been, oh my goodness, let me tell you, the things I've been experiencing the last few days or more. It's not so much of what is happening, it's so much of how it's beautifully unfolding. So much we can complain about, but at the same time, uh, have much gratitude. I love this background, by the way. It's like a flower, and it's like my head is in the middle, which gives me even more confirmation on a masterpiece. But um, what do I want to say? Individuality definitely represents the Leo, and then the collective definitely representing the Aquarius. So I am seeing upon my own journey the importance of who in my life and upon my journey is so significant in these moments. The mother I came through being Aquarius, the daughter I Aaliyah, she being an Aquarius as well. This is to all that will see the mothers, everyone that's experienced something. Let me tell you something. I'll be the first to. I'm going to go more into detail about exactly and just how everything is unfolding so beautifully. Life is happening for the greater good, not only just for yourself, but for everyone. This is to the mothers, families, and people that are affected in these very moments where the influx in housing, the rent, those that are aware, um, there being an influx in a lot of things, which is a part of this North Node, Taurus, Scorpio, South Node. And for those that are upon your spiritual journey, your inner knowingness and then the awareness of this Aquarian age plays a very is very vital in these moments. That being said, is that we know what it is to observe, and at the same time the Leo energy gives us that moment to celebrate and honor our journey, the pain, the struggle, whatever, all, the things that, again, that are uh, seeing how far we have come. And that being said, the Aquarius helps us hold that place. The Leo holds that place of compassion for not only ourselves, but for others with the, being connected to the Aquarius. So the polarity aspect of all of this, not only just the individual, but collective. So when we're seeing this thing economically, globally, what's happening, where people are being forced out of the housing, there's not enough of, in a sense, money, which the money system, a lot of stuff is going to change. And me encountering and being a part of all of this, we're all a part of this. And I'm going to elaborate on that. And again, this is to the tribes, the family, people that are experiencing this. You are loved, you are appreciated. The Most High hasn't forgotten what you're experiencing right now. Because what isn't going to be showed and broadcast is because, again, the healers is so vital that, again, you take care of yourself, you honor yourself in these moments, because it's interconnected, that you are connected to all things. And that's a part of that whole Scorpio South Node, all these things, transformation, rebirth happening within ourselves. We're giving and building birth to a new empire, new beginning, a new way of living. And see, that is the death to the old way. This Aquarian age is more collectively helping, you know, others, and seeing how even these, how we perceive these tragic or moments, me even having to experience it firsthand with the mother that I came through. So this has happened maybe, let's say, Spirit called me to return to the mother, the mother I came to see the, where we can be so focused on ourselves so much of just going, trying to do everything, and not realizing that Aquarian energy helps us see that, be open to the help, be open to the guidance, and then seeing others as well, just as much as just always being focused on self. It's the balance. That's why life is truly a balance. That being said, um, here I am creating, learning what it is to share my gifts, honor my gifts, because that's the knowingness of, again, people not always going to be aware of when you're doing something, when you're creating, and you know that you're being called to do something, and you're going to get resistance from that. People are not going to always accept, oh, well, why you're not doing this? You should go work. You should go do this. No. A part of it coming to this awareness, a lot of us are being called up or being initiated in the spirit to be leaders in the physical. Because a part of this dismantling and this death to the old way, the old paradigm, is a part of us ushering into the new paradigm. This is what we are experiencing, not only internally, but externally in the physical. With, the whole governmental system, with, how humanity now, it seems like it's going through not only a crisis with the influx in housing, and also with the, again, mental health issues. A lot of this stuff is going to come to the forefront. This is why we see the importance of spiritually the inner work. So, recently, again, my mom, the mother I came through, the queen, she was experiencing, just conflict of interest, I'll say, or, this whole trying to get this aid or help from services, and for her rent and for her housing. But the thing about this is that the owner, and I'm gonna let y'all know just from the real, because again, we all can relate, bro. Let me tell you something. Like, me doing traveling and just doing what I know I'm called to do, and just trying the best to find my own inner guidance, find a foundation within myself, knowing the importance of security. Um, that's a fan that came on. So she actually, let me turn this off. Okay. But anywho, she actually, the owner per se of where she stayed at was, he actually tried, well, before all this happened, he actually tried to evict her. And that being said, is that when this happened, here I am, me returning there, and I'll get to the bigger picture of all of this, because a lot of stuff we have to see it bigger than just us. So I'm seeing the fact that, the mental awareness around all of this, and how important individually being Leo, the Leo energy, then Aquarius being collectively bigger than ourselves, and, being about others. So that those are not aware, but again, this is just transparent. This is just what it is. The mother I came to, she still, and I have these talks with her. She still is fighting her own inner demons with um, drugs, cocaine per se. And if those that are not aware and those that will see this, those that are aware that again, when people are going through these circumstances or going through these phases in their life, some are more gravitated to what that feeling, that high. And in that feeling, some people, again, how they use money or when they obtain money or when they get money is specifically for that purpose. And I didn't really have a lot of knowledge of this when I was younger. Um, it is not so much of being naive, it's so much of you're going to always have that love for the mother, for the matriarchal, or for who Spirit chose you to come through. That being said, I was very much aware of this, so I didn't really care to be around much of it because, again, I had awareness of this. Um, she did. She still would pay her bills or whatever it is. Me being there, actually, here I am, focusing more on my creative aspects, what I know I'm being called to do, create my art, focus on more of my, meditation and focus more consciously on what I'm here to do on my purpose. That being said, you know, when you're in a space or you're in an environment where it's like this polarity, you have to know what it is to be secure within self, to know that others' actions doesn't have an effect on you unless you allow it to consume you. See, I'm very much aware that she, again, being in relationships with men or, you know, like I be honest, I'm like, look, I know what you're going through. I know people I've experienced being on the street, know what people going through. And again, it has helped me in my own journey to see and hold compassion in my heart for others that are experiencing this. At the same time, I have to set boundaries. But in that process of all of this, you know, she had this, you know, this comes from uh, a lot of our mothers having to be so much in their masculine and not really focus on their mental health. So I can see why a lot of people turn to drug abuse or, a lot of things to consume. It's more the darkness that's consuming them. It's not that it's not like they're great spirited woman, strong power. I mean, just a warrior. But again, our women has been so much in this mentality to just go, 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 do, 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 do. And for me, I had to see within myself is that Spirit brought me to this place to where I had to go do the inner work. I had to learn myself what it is to be secure within myself. I had to know what it was to even returning and being in her presence. I saw more of my response to what she was doing rather than my reaction. And that's because of me learning what it is to come in from a healed honoring the femininity rather than seeing her through a filter of how she should be, what she should be doing, and not realizing that her own internal battle. And when I do the healing for myself, it heals the matriarchal. It heals, the matriarchal of the family that I came through, and I'm seeing it. So for those of you that are honoring your healing journey and going through things, nothing it's not going it's gonna you're gonna be able to see glimpses of how things are gonna change for you. But it's you individually that you have to embrace some of the very fears and subconscious fears that, again, you are here to face those things that your family wasn't, that are afraid to do, such as standing up in your power, choosing your gifts, and then coming into alignment. And that comes with resistance. That comes with resistance from family, from everyone else. But what I realize is that even when she's going through this and a part of Aliyah coming, it allowed me to see the dark aspect of, the pain and struggle, the mother that I, saw her go through so much. And then when Ali arrived, it showed me the light aspect to see how vital it is for me to honor both masculine and feminine within me. The masculine aspect, me experiencing the relationships with, the women, all that things mirroring back to me, and no longer being in that victim mentality or seeking that validation, seeking that love that was connected to the mother that I came through and all of the other women that, pretty much played a part into my upbringing. So now I'm able to see things from a holistic way. We have to realize a lot of people up to this moment, going back to conscious relationships, they don't know what it is to face their subconscious fears. They still have doubts about themselves. They still fear that, not having enough or knowing what it is, this fear of, this whole money system, this fear of not being with someone, this fear of so many things, again, that has to do with the conditioning and programming for so many years. And so I realized that when I honored and healed myself and no longer seeing the feminine through a filter of how she should be when she's ever changing, she is the beginning and the creative force, that energy, the feminine, the mother aspect of who we are, that allow the masculine aspect in me to rise up, to still press forward, to still create, even if they didn't see my vision, even if people don't see what you're doing. You don't plant the seed and receive the fruit in the same season. So that goes to say, like, now I'm realizing that I am that light, that beacon of light. I am that how could I say, that holistic and healed version of a man, mirroring back to the wounded aspect, the neglect, the abandonment that, the mother I came through feels, the wounded, the filter that she still sees the masculine, which is the men or the patriarchal in a sense. And that's what some of us are on. By us learning what we are whole within ourselves and get into this holistic place, we will realize that when we are in connections or when we are around certain people, you can say the word trigger, you are a part of your light is shining light on all of their subconscious fears, how they really doubt themselves, and it's all how they perceive it. If the focus has again been external, then if you know what it is to internalize these things and you know what it is to face these things, you mirror back to these people. That's what's triggering to them. You shine light on the demons that they're trying to hide. And so when you speak it or simply just be who you are, then that right there, there's going to be resistance. There's going to be a defense. There's going to be a, and see, that allows you now, again, one, I learned myself to just be secure within myself and become aware that this is someone else's reaction. And then however I respond is the best thing. I responding with peace, or I responding to just choosing to listen. And so what where we were, the guy there, or what she was experiencing, I had to see this firsthand because it was a part of my healing journey, is seeing how the men would just honestly use her for sex. I had to see this through my own lens. I had to see, like, the only reason they would come around is, they were just supplying her with drugs. And again, we have to see how we came to be who we are and how much that affected our childhood, and then now how we can acknowledge, accept, and move forward in a more conscious way. And so when I'm seeing these things play out, I still give my bits and pieces. Like, this person doesn't want to see you prosper, man. If you don't see the value in yourself, how can anyone see value in you? And see, this is what we have to realize, is that the world is no longer the old paradigm, was so more focused on the value externally, seeking all these things, when really now the spiritual aspect of who we truly are is the value within. And so we are that light to show people that everyone won't accept that. That's okay, but the acceptance starts with you. So when I'm seeing like the place we were at and seeing this, this cycle, the owner there of the so-called place, the house, I noticed that he would say and speak to, the mother I came through a certain way, but me standing in my power and her having to go through an eviction, he actually took her to court. And in that whole process, he agreed to, because she was getting help and guidance from, some services that were, because of this whole, thing that's going on. And they offered to pay, let's say, 2-3 months rent. And he agreed to that. Then approximately probably about a few days later, he turned away from that. And then he's all of a sudden wanted 5 months of rent. So I had to look at myself and see where I'm at, because my focus is security within. And I'm realizing, Spirit's like, you're really more here for the emotional help. It's not so more the financial. And again, people were like, what do you mean? What do you mean? You're going to let your mom get... No, it's not about that. It was more so me observing and looking at the old way of what was and letting go. Because here I am seeing the mother I come through just go, 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 go. When in this moment, Spirit is calling for the divine feminine, or for our women to rest, because we're no longer in that energy. And so you can see how it's taking a toll on her health, not just only with the drugs, but the overuse of the smoking, and just pushing, because again, when people haven't mentally sat with themselves, and see, I know what it is to face my inner darkness. So I'm seeing a mirror of myself where it's not what she's doing is bad. It's in the sense of like, you're seeing a mirror of what you do not, the road you do not want to go. It's like you're seeing the future, and you're seeing it now in the present, to where you don't want to see Aaliyah. You don't want to see other women go down this whole way. This is why I'm sharing this story with y'all. And so when the guy did that, she was just crying, trying to figure out what we're going to do. And so I'm expressing to her, like, from me, consciously, from what I'm aware of, just breathe, just stay present. And here we are, like, he continued to go, what they call, like, to the sheriff's office and say, oh, you got to be out in a certain amount of time, and the doors will be padlocked. So I'm sitting here like, wow. And I'm going to tell you honestly what I did. I still find a way to create. I still find a way to create my masterpieces. I still find a way to go out and connect with people, because I realize I'm planting seeds. I'm still building, because what I'm seeing is a mirror of what no longer was, and see what I feel like we're coming into is so that this doesn't happen again. A lot of things we have to learn on our journey is to see why, what is the lesson in that, and then what's the knowledge that we've gained, and how can we apply it. And so when this happened, I did, when the sheriffs came, for you that don't know, when people go through evictions, the sheriffs comes and the owner, and they come and padlock the door. I had a few words for the man, because he would say stuff, he held his head down, because some people, as much as they don't want to act like they don't care, a part of them does. But a part of me, Spirit, was like, the Most High wants, it's like, I want you to see this, because it's so many that are experiencing this. There's so many mothers and kids that are experiencing this. We had no knowledge that that man was going to change his mind and say, oh, we know I'm not going to accept. He's going to decline the 2-3 months rent that, the other people wanted to, the services wanted to contribute, and suggest, say, 5 months. So we had no knowledge that this was going to happen. But when it happened, like I said a few things to him. I said, I'll have the last laugh. And when I say that, it's because you have to see how the world has been so fixated on how the value of, oh, if you have this, then you have everything. But even through all of this, I still remain peaceful. I still remain secure. We still had services to where people, we had someone we knew, or, some services that help us get into a hotel room. And what I realized is that, even during this whole process, my mom, she's like, oh, I gotta go find another job. I gotta go find. And I'm looking at her like, eyes are swole up. She's crying. And, I'm like, just be patient. Something's gonna always happen. And this is to everyone. When one door closes, another one opens. This is the magic of the universe right now. Is that these moments gonna show who truly has faith and trust and surrenderance to, the new. And see, you're gonna see that. You're gonna see broadcasted the fear of the unknown and those that truly know what it is to embrace it. But everything is good. We did have services to put us in a place for, a certain amount of time. But I do know everything happens for a reason. Because where we specifically at, I actually made another video on my other camera, is I realized like a lot of places where I'm at was where surrounding places like the hospital and places that I grew up at, housing, elementary school, was where a lot of the pain and struggle I experienced. So I give you a brief, scenario about everything. I actually did a video and it talks about how, this is my beginning where my birth is at the hospital. Then I proceeded to go to this elementary school, and make a little snip about that. Then I actually went to the house that I grew up in, one of the houses when I was younger. And I'm talking about how even this began, like me experiencing a lot of childhood traumas, and now how I'm able, now being at a place whole within myself, secure within myself, I'm able to laugh about it. It may seem crazy, but no, everything that's unfolding is purposeful. Because in the midst of everything, I am still creating. I am still creating a masterpiece for a beautiful soul. But I say that to say this. The Most High Creator will give you glimpses of not only the past and what you've experienced, but give you glimpses of the new and what we are coming into. It's like everything that I realized as I was walking and going where I was today was that of the past and the old. It's like I'm seeing the old past struggles, pain, and everything dissolve right before me. Only now to realize that had I not continued, to use my gifts, I know this is for all of you. You have to know that your gifts are going to create a life of abundance, not just for you. Because once you realize that this Aquarian age is, yes, it's individual once you go within, but it's also collective. Interconnected is outer connected. We are all a part of this, man. And even being here, it's like just to realize that Spirit's like, you need to be there, even if it doesn't make sense right now, but be more of and I don't see it as a crutch, but be of an emotional support. A lot of these moments, we are being called to be at the side, and certain circumstances are going to force people into unity, force people to come together. And that's why I'm truly grateful of. It's like everyone has played a part in this. For anything to come and to be, such as my body, my organs, my skin, my hair, everything about me, internally, externally, was a puzzle piece to be part of a divine creation. I am a divine creation. And so it shows me, even during this whole process, like, that give, share, and honor, and know that your path is not in vain, man. Like, even where we are, I had to realize, like, yo, for me to get up and have the courage to create that video was me already walking into my, what I'm called to do, what I'm here to do. And I'm just truly grateful, because as much as anyone else, it doesn't matter about how anyone else is going to see this, like, whatever they're going to feel towards it. You're not the only one. Some people right now don't know how they're going to be fed. Some people don't know what they're going to do. Some people don't know how their rent is going to get paid. This ain't just happening to us. This is happening to doctors. This is happening to athletes. This is happening to celebrities. This is what all this, the head shall become the tail, and the tail shall become the head aspect. Because I've shared with y'all, like, when I say the last shall be first, those that have experienced all the pain and struggle, and it seems like there is no hope, we always have faith. I said this to a lady today. She was like, I hope I win this. I was like, no, you have faith. I tell myself, and this is my perception, I said, hope ain't really got nobody nowhere. But faith in the unknown, faith in knowing that always everything is going to be okay. You have to have faith in these moments. Don't ask. That's just the undeniable faith I have. It's like an immovable tree. Spirit is taking me through the moments of, it's like reconnecting to my roots, only to see the fruits of my labor. That it was never in vain. And this much more I'm going to share with you all, but I'm sharing this because I want to just inspire people to know that you're not the only one experiencing this. I witnessed traveling, seeing mothers that were pregnant, before all this stuff hit, to where they were out on the street. You had mothers that were pregnant and with their families already out on the street. This shit is not okay. And, it's not so much, it's beyond my control, but just know that greater is coming. Greater is coming, and the wicked they will be judged, because a lot of what has happened is due to the abuse of power. People, and that is no more. And again, this is to those that, again, you're going through something, don't know how this is going to happen. Keep pressing forward. Keep creating. Keep being you. Stand in your power. This is where your creative juices, or certain things, are going to happen. And you are going to be pushed and nudged to be called to the forefront. So even in this moment, it's not meant for certain things to happen like we want them to happen right away. No, Spirit wants to reveal to us the importance of resting, the importance of observing, seeing things from bigger than what, just from an individual perspective, but more of like, how this is happening throughout the world. But I just want to share that with y'all again. I'm truly grateful for the fact of, again, standing in my power, standing up, and I know that I don't question what's really going on. I just know that I am the miracle. I am who I am. And this is the beauty of all of this, is we have to experience these things. and see how, and that's the renewing of the mind, seeing how this is happening for my greater good. So y'all take care of yourself and just know that all is well. You got to know within yourself. Be secure, meditate, take a walk, go breathe, go have fun. Even in the midst of all of this, I was still, me going to the elementary school I grew up in, me seeing people I haven't saw in a while. It just, seeing kids, that's another thing. Seeing the kids there, seeing mentors that that I didn't realize still, are at these places. I was seeing a reflection of myself when I was at that age. And then seeing how much that wherever we go, we are impacting people. No matter how this is perceived, or this is going to impact someone beyond the fact of when I leave this body. That's how I always see it. You got to get up and enjoy every moment of this moment and embrace it. You got to get up no matter where you at in your life and celebrate that moment. Because again, even wherever you are, there are people that they don't know. There are people on the street that don't know. They're not even getting help. And all that shit should change. Some people not getting help just because of, people feel like people should be obligated to go work and do these things. Yo, that old way, that old paradigm is done. A lot of people not going to want to. This is when the power of the people comes. Everyone's not going to want to live that way, live under these control and constraints and this limitation. These things are going to change. People are going to push back. And I'm telling you, it's happening. It's been happening. More and more people are being pushed out just because people are expecting people to, this whole system expecting them to just work for a certain amount of money, which is just above average or just above them getting by. That's a cycle that will never end. You use your gifts and know that the universal mother, universe is abundant. And abundance comes in abundant ways. There is no limit to that. The mindset has to change. The selfishness is only going to lead to the selfishness and greed and the manipulation and all that stuff. That's the old way. That's done. That's the old powers that be. But I'm here to let you know we gonna be all right. Don't ask me why. That knowingness within me. Peace and blessing. Shalom.